Yeah, no, that's a good point. So this is why the relationship is so fundamental, right? If you have not built good rapport, they're not going to tell you anything. I worked with one brand, and I was working with a sales rep. And one thing I want to highlight, if you're talking with the founder of a company, that conversation is completely different than with a sales rep. Sales reps are hearing 10% of every number you're throwing out, right? So the way I'm going to open that conversation is different. But my point is, I had really built a good relationship with this rep over the phone, right? I'm getting her to laugh, like we're getting to know each other, all these things where I'm like, she likes Dylan as a person, first and foremost. For me, that's goal number one. I need them to like me, because if they don't like me, they're not willing to do anything for me, right? This is reciprocity rule, right? If I can make you laugh, now you're like, okay, Dylan's a pretty decent dude. I'm willing to kind of hear him out on some stuff. Here's where a lot of sellers get wrong. They don't build a rapport. Goal number one, open the account, hardcore negotiate. You haven't given them a dime and you're trying to get an extra 50% discount. They're like, dude, what the heck? Like, you're coming at me with the right hook and nothing? Like, what the heck? So once you've built a good relationship, and again, these things take time, they will tell you things. I literally had this sales rep be like, hey, I know being on Amazon, it's a little tougher because fees. If you sign up for this association, it's like $90 a year. We have a deal with them where we'll give you an additional 10% discount simply because you're a member. Just give me your member ID number. She didn't have to tell me that, but she did because we built a good relationship, right? And I'm not saying like, hey, I need this from you. I'm saying, hey, what can I do for you guys to make this worth it, right? So when I'm going into a negotiation for fees, or I'm sorry, like discounts, I'm not saying this is what I need. I'm saying, hey, what would I need to do for you to make it worth an additional 10% discount? They'll tell you, right? It doesn't need to be this, offensive, defensive thing. It's collaborative, which is so interesting, right? It doesn't feel like you're trying to win somebody over or convince them. It's just a conversation. And yeah, I think being able to go back and do those things are incredibly important, but you should also be looking into the future. There were a few brands that I worked with where I knew that starting out, they were not going to be super profitable per unit, but the volume was insane. And I knew what I could do for them, even using PPC with wholesale, which I've recommended time and time again, where it makes sense, right? It's always worth testing, not always profitable. But I knew that I was not going to be as profitable hitting my buying criteria as I wanted to be, but I knew that in 2-3 months I would be. So I was willing to kind of take a lower ROI, knowing that I could use that cash flow as leverage with that brand. So I could say, hey, we've been working together. I've been super low touch, exactly what I told you I would be. I haven't hardcore negotiated you yet. I've given you 30 grand so far in sales. We're pretty consistent. Here's what I've been doing, where I've been testing PPC ads, blah, 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 cleaning up listing. What I think would really help me be at a point where I could really grow the volume is getting a little bit more margin to work with. If I have a little bit more margin, it may make PPC actually profitable for me to run, which naturally increases the volume, right? We're just thinking through, how do I make this a win-win? So even when I'm in these conversations, I'm like, hey, what's your goal for 2022?